got 8.
Imagine if that was how it opened. Perfect timing.
Welcome to BK Nothing But Nets podcast. We are back. It's good to be back. Spoiler alert, onto the question on my thumbnail. I guess we know who's coming back. Day'Ron Sharpe and Ziaire Williams both agreed to the same deal. I guess it's not completely the same deal, but 2 years, $6 million apiece. 2 years over 2 years, $12 million, $6 million a year. There's a second-year team option on the Ziaire trade.
Yep.
So Ziaire and Day'Ron Sharpe are back in the building. I'm gonna be honest, Dylan. I think this was well played by
this was very well played. I'll give credit when it's due. I've always been open about that. These were 2 really good deals to get done. It still has some form of flexibility as well with the Cam Thomas contract. I mean, let's be honest. If Sharpe and Ziaire are each getting $6 million, who I had Sharpe projected around 11 to 13 million, pretty much an MLE, and I had Ziaire around 15 to 18 million. So to get them for a fraction of the cost, you have to think Cam Thomas is getting a short-term, cheap contract as well. Like, we're looking at maybe a sub 20 million a year for 2 or 3 years. It's definitely something that I could see being in the cards. But no, these are 2 great deals. I'm very happy with getting them back. And it also shows that the guys that we picked up their team options for, they're going to be fighting for rotational spots. You know, I expect some of them to get cut. I expect some of them to be included in a trade. So hopefully this means the outs for Cam Johnson and Nick Claxton, because there's really not much more roster spots you have available for the current roster. So it'll be interesting to see.
So I got that. Let's get right to that, because that's kind of my next question. I was talking to I was texting with Connor from the Brooklyn Boys, and he's saying, "Well, I guess that means Claxton's on his way out." I didn't even think of that. Do you think a Claxton trade is coming in the next couple of hours or days, or you think?
I don't know about hours. I don't know about hours, but it feels like something's coming, because they wouldn't have worried about the cap holds on Sharpe, Ziaire, and these guys if they didn't have something already being worked on. I still truly believe RJ Barrett is a target. I also believe Santi Aldama is a target. We drafted a shit ton of guards, so I really don't see Terrence Mann, who is somebody that I really wanted prior to the draft and throughout the offseason. That was somebody that I wanted. He's now available, but I doubt we go for him with the amount of guards that we have. But yeah, I think Aldama, RJ Barrett, those are 2 guys that you could really look into as potential fits for this team through the trade market, especially with Cam Johnson and Nick Claxton's values.
So this has gotten done. Let's kind of just talk on this. What does this mean? I mean, do you guys hear me okay? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm having like a ton of computer issues here. All right. As long as you guys can hear me.
It's Monday, man.
We got the excuse. Reset this at some point, but
Monday. We got the excuse.
We got a case of a Monday. Kind of grade these, like, because yesterday when they announced that they weren't going to tender either offer, I said, okay, I think Day'Ron is gone and we're keeping Claxton. Now I've gone 180 degrees the other way. I think we obviously kept Day'Ron. I think we're moving off of Claxton, which is ideally what I want. Kind of great.
I was very shocked.
Give me your reaction to what you thought yesterday compared to how you're assessing this today.
I was very shocked to see Ziaire back. I wanted him back more than probably anybody in this free agency class, because I've just developed a real liking for his game and the way that he played last season.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to see him back. I think that's a great addition or re-addition. I would have liked it to be on a longer term deal, maybe without the team option. I think getting him at $6 million a year is a fucking steal. If you could have locked that in for 2-3 years, that would have been great. I would have even been willing to give him $8 to $9 million a year just to get him on a 2-3 year deal straight up. But I understand it. They're trying to keep the financial cap flexibility for next offseason. So it makes sense. Unfortunately, he likely will be sent on his way at some point this season through trade deadline, whatever it may be. Like, if they're not looking to pick up that team option, then you'd have to think that he's a trade candidate at the deadline. So I'll take as much time I'll take as much time to enjoy watching him play as possible. But the Suns did just waive Cody Martin, so it looks like something is going on with Phoenix potentially. Could it be the Claxton trade? I mean, they got Mark Williams and Kaman Malawak. I really don't think they need him. Bro, we're not getting Zach Edey. Leave me alone. Fuck out of here with my bro. Get out of here. No, we're not doing this Zach Edey bullshit, man. The dream is dead. Your dream is dead. Just like my dream of Jeremiah Fears, Dylan Harper, Cooper Flagg, Ace Bailey, all of it's dead. Leave Zach Edey in Memphis and lock the key.
I know that Leaf likes Zach Edey, but like I think we've kind of established last year that he's not that good. Like, was that not well established last year?
I'm fully established with it. I don't think Leaf has actually watched the Zach Edey game since I don't know. Actually, wait, no, he doesn't watch college basketball, so I don't know if that's.
He wanted Zach Edey game? On just the measurables, just the height and the measurables.
I think Leaf just wants to meet him in person, look up at him, and be like, "Damn, how's the weather up there?" And that's it, and then just walk away, and then he'd be happy. He'd be like, "All right, we can trade him now."
All right. The other, is he trying? I like Leaf. And his takes are always.
Leaf is known for flaming hot takes, man. Leaf has got some of the most flaming hot takes on young prospects in that I've ever met in the past 2 years that I've been doing the whole podcasting game since I've known him specifically. My goodness gracious, some hot takes, but he's good at debating. I'll give him that. But no, Zach Edey is not the guy, dude, at all. And don't type in all caps. Yes, he is. Swear to God, don't do it. But to completely go off topic for a second, just because I'm excited as a Steelers fan, we got Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith for Minkah Fitzpatrick. Hell yeah. I'll take it.
Dude,
give me Terry McLaurin next.
I don't even know how to process that. That's a heck of a trade. I don't even know how to process that.
I'm very upset because I am a Minkah fan, but he did drop off the face of the earth last year. He looked like shit. So to get Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith, that's great value. And we also, I think we got a 5th round pick out of it too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, we gave up a 7th round pick. Or did we receive a 7th round pick and they got a 5th? Or did we get a 5th and they got a 7th?
I was so caught up in the basket. You're the Steelers fan. You tell me.
Oh, man. We got a 7th round. We got a 7th round pick, Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith. They got Fitzpatrick and a 5th round pick. That makes sense. But yeah, I'm excited.
You don't really see blockbuster trades like that in football.
Yeah, the NFL, you rarely see player for player trades like that, where you see multiple high level players dealt in the same deal. So that was cool to watch. I'll give Omar Khan that. He finally woke back up, spent some time. But now back to Nets related stuff. I want to say at this point in time, yeah, Alex just said it. I was actually just about to say the same thing. We're around 34 to 36 million now in cap space. So you have to think Cam Thomas is around that 18 to 21 range, because then they're going to use the full MLE on somebody as well, which is why I think Santi Aldama is an option. And then you're going to probably pivot and look towards guys like RJ Barrett for Cam Johnson or Nick Claxton. So it'll be interesting. I hope they do something.
I wanted let me get to right now. Nets have 16 guys on their roster. The Hawks have 10.
Yeah, people are freaking out about this. Last season, I'm pretty sure we entered training camp with like 18 or 19 guys on the roster. It's fucking fine. You're allowed to enter training camp with like 20 guys on the roster. You have 4 guys that are on 1-year expiring team option deals that were just picked up. 2-3 of those guys are getting released probably. Like, people got to chill. It happens. Guys go into training camps, especially teams that suck, with a shit ton of players to see who can prove themselves to be a part of the 15-man rotation. So it's not a big deal.
Let's get into the other. We both like the Sharp and Ziaire signings. I think that's well played by Marks. Mark, if you're listening, I'm giving Sean Marks his flowers for this. This was well played by Sean Marks. I'm not an unreasonable person. I think Sean Marks is the worst GM in professional sports, but when he does something right, I will give him his credit. And I think Dylan's on board with me there. This was well played. Now, let's get to the other. Cam Thomas. They tendered Cam Thomas. It's a $6 million tender. what's the process from here? It certainly looks like Cam Thomas is going to end back up on the Nets, but like, what do you think that's going to end up costing? And what's the process from here on Cam Thomas?
Yeah, it's a fluid situation for Cam Thomas currently. It's strange. Like Nets Daily put out some BS that he's going to get $25 million a year. I don't believe it. I don't buy it. I don't think Nets Daily is a source. I continue to say this every episode. Sorry, not sorry. I still think he's around. Like, if it was my decision with the way that the market is currently at in terms of cap space, the max that he can be offered by anybody currently is $15 million. I would genuinely give him $15.1 million. That's how petty I am. Because realistically, there's no other market. So take a 2-3 year with a 2-3 year deal with a player option. I would price him at 18 to 20 million just to be nice, but get him on a deal around that price range for 2-3 years with a player option. I would only offer a player option for if it's a 3-year contract, but if it's a 2-year deal, I would keep it straight up. This way, he can't walk next season. But yeah, that's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting to have like 11 to 15 million left in cap space and use the full MLE on somebody and then start making trades.
And you think it's Santi Aldama? And if so, what are your thoughts on that?
I do think it's Aldama. I think that it's going to be an Aldama sign-in trade. Realistically, it'll probably be, John Conchar and Aldama to Brooklyn for Nick Claxton or Cam Johnson, whatever it may be. I'm assuming Brooklyn's going to get a pick back in return for that as well. Just based on the fact that in a sign and trade scenario, the team that's giving away the player always has to give up a little bit more. So I would expect like John Conchar and Aldama for Cam Johnson, and then Brooklyn would probably get an additional first round pick in the deal as well. We've got Gary on mute. Oh, here we go. Oh, you're gonna have to restart.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Can you carry this for a minute? I'm gonna have to restart this.
Yeah, of course.
Can you carry the workload for?
Of course.
All right. Let me
if you guys want, while we're waiting for Gary, feel free to drop some questions, drop some predictions on what you think the Nets are going to do this offseason. The offseason officially begins in 3.5 hours, right? Yeah, 3.5 hours roughly. So Lou said restart the potato, Gary. Oh, and there he is. But yeah, so I think Santi Aldama is by far the restricted free agent that Brooklyn will look into. I also do believe, and this came out just before, but I do believe Brooklyn is going to start looking into Benedict Mathurin as well. That could be another Cam Johnson suitor in Indiana. So I would absolutely love to add, one of either Aldama, RJ Barrett, or Benedict Mathurin. I think those are the three main guys that I would look into as of right now. But yeah, I mean, getting Sharp and Ziaire back on $6 million a year, that's great contracts. I still am very shocked about that. I had Sharp priced out at between like 10 to 13 million a year. So pretty much like the MLE. And then I also had Ziaire around like 15 to 18 million a year. So to get them back on those cheaper deals was great.
All right, we should be good.
Bang. We are back.
Browser, this is way better. All right. You have to do
Did you forget to close the porn tab with the virus on it? Was that what was going on?
I am not a porn guy.
Me neither.
I'm not a porn guy. I'm not Ben Roethlisberger.
It's not. Yeah, no. Yeah. No beer and porn like Ben Roethlisberger. That's my franchise.
No beer or porn for me. No. Yeah.
It's still the greatest quote of all time when he's in that podcast. He's like, "Yeah, I used to be addicted to beer and porn." I was like, "Wait, what? Rewind. Go back. What did you just say?" You were pumping them out and drinking beers at halftime of the Super Bowl. Like, is that what was happening?
Perhaps, yeah.
Hey, if it won my team 2 Super Bowls, go out and do it again.
Would it have won you a third had he not been jerking off at halftime?
See, maybe that's when he stopped. Maybe that's when he found out that he has the addiction, and then he started rehab. I don't know. It was something probably, but I won't forget that one that we lost against the Packers. That shit sucked.
Yeah.
Go ass. But yeah, moving on from football because football pisses me off more than the Nets sometimes.
All right, I've lost my train of thought. What were we? We're at Cam Thomas. We're breaking down Cam Thomas. All right, let me bring that back. Cam Thomas, you think he's going to walk away by 21 million? You said.
I mean, with the prices,
I really have no idea.
With the prices these guys are getting, you have to expect he's in that 16 to 18 million range.
So then, if you're Cam Thomas, do you just take a 1-year deal? Seriously, I don't want to lock in. Like I'm going to try.
I would give him
next year.
I would give him $19 million a year on a 3-year deal with a player option for year 3. I think that is more than fair.
Does he want that? Pete is joining us. Does he want that? If I'm Cam Thomas and I can average 26 points a game this year, I want to test free agency next year. I don't want to lock into a long-term deal.
Norman Powell only makes $18 million, and he practically does the same shit as Cam Thomas does.
What's up, boys?
What up, Pete? We got Pete here. Pete, let me get your reaction first to we want to get to Cam Thomas, but first, Dayron, Ziaire, both 2-year deals, roughly the same deal. I know Zaire's got an option on his, but your thoughts, your reaction to signing Ziaire and Dayron.
Sean's cooking. But if you think about it, it's really not that surprising, right? How many teams actually have cap room? If I'm the Charlotte Hornets, am I going to use my mid-level exception on Dayron Sharp? You know what I mean? Are we actually going to be playing to win? No, we're probably tanking. What's that? That's Shams? What'd he say?
There's going to be some big deals tonight. That's the quote.
Shit.
That's the quote. LeBron, you are a Dallas Maverick.
LeBron's a New York Knick. I'm telling you, LeBron's a Knick.
I hope LeBron leaves, goes somewhere and wins a ring. I don't care.
Even if it's the Knicks?
Dude, I don't have a hate for the Knicks. We suck when they're good. No, because I'm a New Jersey fan. I'm not a
So what? What are you talking about?
I don't think it's
a
rival.
What are you talking about?
The last time we faced off in the playoffs was what? When Ewing was around?
No, Marbury. Marbury was a Knick.
Yeah,
swept them.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this isn't a rivalry. We have more of a rivalry with teams like Boston than we do with the Knicks.
I do hate the Celtics.
We lost Dr. J because of them.
No.
We
suck.
He's not wrong. Yeah.
No. I'm not saying you're wrong about that. I'm just saying no to the fact that I don't have I don't have like a hate fetish for the Knicks, because when they're good, we suck, and when we're good, they suck. There's no rivalry there. It's just loudmouth fans versus loudmouth new fans, and they're just smacking up against one another trying to make some noise. I don't have a hate for them. I'll talk shit to Knicks fans when they talk shit, but I don't have a personal hate out for the Knicks.
Get reckless though. They are like this. The Knicks are not a good franchise over the last 50 years. They could be a little more humble. Like when in the Jason Kidd era,
I
wasn't talking trash
for the past 25 years.
I was just happy. Like I was just thrilled. Like the Nets were good for the first time in my life. Like they were really good, and not Kenny Anderson and Derek Coleman good where they're one and done. Like they're actually winning in the playoffs and going to the finals. Like it was awesome. I wasn't talking trash to Knicks fans. I was just enjoying the moment. Knicks fans talk reckless. Reckless. They really do.
Knicks are Cowboys fans. You know, Knicks are Yankees fans. I'm a Yankee fan. I can admit to it. We talk a lot of shit, and we suck, but it happens. You know, the Knicks are just Cowboys fans. This is going to be our year. No, it's not. You can't even. You're on your sixth or 7th head coach potential candidate now. You can't even get Dawn Staley in the building. Get the fuck out of here. Knicks are trash.
Pete, let me real quick. I want to transition to LeBron real quick, and then we'll go back to the Nets. LeBron has talked. He's released statements now where he's talking about the Lakers past tense. It was good. It was good. It was. Is he gone? And if so, is it the Mavs or the Knicks? Remember, he's got a no trade clause. Where's he going? Now, Knicks or the Mavs seem like the two teams that can get this done. To me, him for Cat is a trade. But go ahead.
Well, this is all news to me. So you're gonna get my live reaction. I'm late on this. Man, I think if there's going to be a move to be made, it's obviously the Knicks. I don't think there's any doubt about it. Where else? If you're him, where else would you want to go? They just made Knicks just made a playoff run. Yeah, they don't have a head coach, but let's see how many people start lining up the head coach of the Knicks when LeBron is on the team.
Interesting. Yeah, see, I'm opposite. I think he would want to go play with his two boys and the number 1 overall pick.
Is AD actually his boy, though? Is AD actually his boy?
Yes, he's his boy. Did you not see the interview where even he was like, I'm going to watch what I say because the last time somebody did that, they got traded. Like, Jeannie Buss already sold a portion of the team. Like, they're clearly going in a different direction to build around Luka. And realistically, opting into his deal not only allows him to get paid his full contract for one final season, but it also allows the Lakers to net back full value for him, where they can at least bring in 3 or 4 guys to match the contracts and build a roster around Luka. Dallas makes the most sense.
But
realistically, but he's got no trade clause. He doesn't want to go to Dallas. He's not going there. You know what I'm saying? He's got no trade clause.
You're telling me he's not going to want to go play with Kyrie and AD?
Does he want to go play with the Knicks?
He's going to want to go play with Kyrie.
This is his last year in the NBA, according to his wife, right?
Yes. The last time a wife said that about a goat, divorced. I'm just gonna throw that out
Bruh.
there.
Wait, now, Dylan, who are they gonna give up to get him though?
PJ Washington,
Klay Thompson.
Klay Thompson. I did the deal last night. It was Klay Thompson, PJ Washington, Najee Marshall, and I believe, oh my God, who was the last piece? It wasn't Caleb Martin. Let me see.
If you're the Lakers, would you even want to do that deal?
I mean, you're getting a ton of depth.
You're getting a ton of pieces. Like you got Luka. Like I mean, I don't think you're a championship team, but you're getting great pieces.
Let's see. It was Klay, PJ,
old
Najee Marshall, and Derek Lively for LeBron.
Okay, Lively. That's interesting. But like,
yeah, that deal financially.
I don't know. I think the Knicks could have a better offer. No.
I mean, it depends. Do you want just Cat next to Luka, or do you want one of the best shooters of all time, guy on an expiring $14 million deal who's a really solid 3-and-D role player, Najee Marshall on a cheap $9 million a year 2-year deal, great 3-and-D role player, and then Derek Lively, a big that fits the pick and roll scheme with Luka as a rim protector and as a lob threat.
We could also do it with the Knicks could offer pieces too. They could offer OG and Robinson. That would roughly.
That's interesting to me. But they don't have to pick.
That's maybe the only deal that I would think of. If it's straight up that for Bron, you have to think about it. But you would assume that the Lakers are going to want to pick, right? Or that
they got a 2026 pick. They can trade. Right? They 2026.
No, they can't. They have a 2026 and a 2028, which makes the 2026 pick untradeable, unless if it's a swap. So it's really not worth it.
But I'm not trading. Like, look, I know you're a LeBron guy. LeBron is the GOAT guy. Like, whatever you put him, he's in the top 5 players of all time. He's 40 years old. I'm not trading picks for a 40-year-old. I can't do it.
If there's another 40-year-old that you can show me that put up 24, 8, and 8, please find it.
But
I can't.
40-year-old. This is going to trigger Dylan. I'm going to say it anyway. 40-year-old MJ cooks 40-year-old LeBron.
Not even close. Show me the stats.
You're not old enough to remember 40-year-old MJ.
I'll pull up the stats.
MJ.
40-year-old MJ on the fucking mat on the Wizards?
It's a different era. It's a different era. Go watch Wizards Jordan. He could still cook.
Did Jordan even play till he was 40, or was he already a gambling
drug addict? He was 40.
Or drunk? You know, he was something.
I'm not weighing in on the debate.
Hold on,
I'm just saying 40-year-old Michael played every game. And
was he 40 in 02? Was that it?
Yeah, his last year was 02.
So he played 67. Oh, I'm sorry. He played 82 games. He only started 67 of them. He played roughly 37 minutes a night. Okay. In that 37 minutes, he averaged 20 points, less than 4 assists, 6.1 rebounds.
That's pretty good.
He shot 29% from 3.
He's not a 3-ball shooter.
And he shot 44.5% from the field. The guy fucking sucked. He is not comparable to LeBron.
You want me to see LeBron's last year? Are you old enough to remember Jordan on the Wizards?
Fuck no. Barely. I'm old enough. I just actually, since you brought this up, I'm gonna get this little. My birthday was just yesterday. I just turned 35, but I barely remember. Thank you. I barely remember Jordan on the Wizards.
I was gonna say LeBron in his final year, as of right now, this past season, 24.4 points, 4 points better than MJ. 7.8 rebounds. That's 2.5 rebounds better than 1.7 rebounds better than MJ. 8.2 assists per game. That's double than what MJ had. And he shot 51.3%, which is already 6% better than what MJ did. And to top it off, let's see. He shot 37.6% from 3 when Jordan shot 20. This isn't comparable. LeBron at the age of 40 is still a superstar.
I'm not saying that LeBron wouldn't give Jordan 30 right back. 40-year-old Jordan drops 30 on MJ. I'm telling you, 40-year-old MJ still
Jordan in his final year of his career looks like Norman Powell today. And that's it.
Go watch the Wizards. Go. You can get him on YouTube. Go watch some games from Jordan's last 2 years with the Wizards.
Tell me I'm wrong. Statistically, he looks like Norman Powell. He played
on the worst team in basketball. It was an abysmal roster.
And if he was on the worst team, shouldn't he be putting up 30?
It was a different game. Games were played in the 80s then.
He was putting up 32 in the late 80s.
Was he as good as
good enough?
Okay. Was 2003 MJ as good as 1988 Jordan? No.
No.
Okay. He was not.
No, he was already an alcoholic and gambling addict.
Yo, can I say one last? I just saw this from Rudy. Do you know Rudy? What if you had LeBron going back to Cleveland?
I've been saying that for 2 years.
I've been saying that too.
I absolutely love it, but at this point in time, it probably doesn't make sense because why would you give up Darius Garland if you were the Lakers? Why would you want Darius Garland? Unless if it's Evan Mobley straight up for Bron, I'm not doing it.
Well,
Come
the
on.
ball's in LeBron's court here. If LeBron says trade me to Cleveland or I'm not accepting any other trade, guess where he's going? The ball is really in LeBron's court here. He can really pick where he wants to go because he can just decline any other trade.
Realistically, the only trade that makes sense is Jared Allen, DeAndre Hunter, and then a salary filler plus a first-round pick for LeBron.
How much of an impact at 40, going to be 41, he'll be 41 by the end of the season. How much impact do you think he still has, LeBron?
He's still 70-80% of a team.
But wait, can I throw this in? So if he's traded to Cleveland, he only gets back Jared Allen. But if he's traded
Jared
to
Allen,
Dallas,
DeAndre Hunter, and somebody else, I just think they're better fits.
But
long term.
I'm just saying value-wise, why is Dallas giving up more perceived value than Cleveland would have to? It would seem that there would be more.
Well, it's just because Dallas doesn't have the contracts to match it up. So they have to give out more,
But only Allen could fit it?
I think Jared Allen's a perfect fit next to Luka. He's a lob threat. He's a rim protector. That matches really well with what Luka needs, right? DeAndre Hunter is a very, very good role player to have on your roster. He is a little bit better than Rui Hachimura, right? So they'll still have a package that's good enough, especially knowing that the Cavs would probably have to give out a first-round pick or two to get that deal done.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the thing. If you can get that, plus with the picks that they got from that they still have currently, you'd have the contracts necessary to go out and trade for a star if you really wanted to, while still having Jared Allen on the roster. So you would have a star, Luka, Austin Reeves, and Jared Allen. That's something to work with if you're Luka.
I get it. I fanboy for Kobe the same way that Dylan does fanboy for Bron. I get it, right? Like, I'm not a Lakers fan. I have no connection to the Lakers, but I do fanboy for Kobe the same way that Dylan fanboys for Bron. He does. We got news? Look at me, Jack. Oh no news yet. Okay, what up, Addy? Addy's a Laker fan. Where do you think Bron's going? I can't see him staying at this point. Like, the statement he released was all written in past tense, which has to be annoying for the Lakers because they had to throw away a second-round pick on his kid. Like that was last year. I had to pick your kid for you. All right, P. I wanted to transition back to you real quick. Cam Thomas. They obviously tendered him. It looks like he's going to end up back on the Nets. How we got Dylan's take on this. Let's get your insight. How much do you think that's going to be? There's rumors that Nets Daily reported $25 million a year for 4 years. That sounds crazy. What do you think that deal looks like when it's all said and done?
I don't think it's crazy at all. I think in any other offseason, he gets that deal. I think it's going to come in a little lower than that. I'd say maybe around $20 million, either a little higher or a little lower. With all these teams with no cap room, it has to be a team that really likes him. And remember, this is what a lot of people forget. If you're tendering a qualifying offer, an offer sheet to a player who got a qualifying offer, you have to have the cap room. So if a team is offering $20 million, they have to offer $20 million in the cap space that they currently have. Teams don't have that.
Yeah.
So Nets have a lot of leverage.
The team has is what, 14.9 or 15.2?
Something like that. So
that's why I was saying you could lowball him. Realistically,
why wouldn't you? Like, I'm wearing a Cam Thomas jersey. I like Cam Thomas. I understand what he is. Why wouldn't you lowball him? I mean,
they are.
That's why 25 to me seems like a fair contract, but this is a bad year for you, right?
That's why I'm saying I think that's why I'm saying the best deal that's fair for both sides. I would give him a 3-year contract with a player option after the third or before the third season starts at $19 million a year annually. I think that's more than fair, right? It gives him a little bit more than what market value is currently based on how teams' cap spaces are, but it also gives Brooklyn the financial flexibility moving forward where if they want to include him in a trade, they can. If he wants to opt out for more money in 2 years, he can, but he has to prove himself. He hasn't proven to be a guy that's worth 25 plus million. He scores 24 a game inefficiently. He hasn't developed a second star aspect to his game that puts him at that star level player caliber yet. Be healthy, be efficient, and get that second portion of your game that you can consider to be a star-level talent.
I'm going to answer what you just said. Mm-hmm. You said he hasn't shown that he's earned that, right?
Yeah.
You aren't wrong, but what you're forgetting is that teams based on teams pay based on potential.
Based on potential. Yeah, it's the same thing with Jabari Smith. Yeah, I completely agree. I can see that. That's the same thing with Jabari, but a lot of those teams also pay though when they're ready to win. Right?
You still don't want to lose the asset for
ready
nothing.
to win. Yeah, but that's the thing, right? Can you really lose him for nothing? He's restricted.
No, but then he walks next year. Next
Trade
offseason.
bait. If you feel like he's not coming back. What are you going to get
for a half a year of Cam Thomas, who's going to be is going to be a free agent?
Well, I mean, you'd have to think of it like a Mark Williams, Dalton Connect Lakers type of trade, right? Where it's a cheap contract on a 1-year deal.
Yo, guys, I'll be right back. I'll be right back.
Maybe is that the move that you get to do a similar deal where you're getting a young player on a rookie contract plus a first-round pick or two? Like, yeah, it's not the greatest value back for a guy who's of star capability, but you're at least getting something back where you're getting market value for him, So that's how I would kind of look at it.
What if, and I don't even know if this could be done, but what if I gave him a deal, right? Because like you said, he's not getting offered more than $15 million from any other team. So what if I gave him a deal that was $16 million this year, $16 million next year, and then a third-year option for $25? Could something like that be done? So 16,
I don't think that's really. I don't think you can do that much of a difference.
Okay, that's what I was asking.
Per year. Yeah, I think it's like a $1.5 to $3 million difference, whether it's descending or ascending. I don't think you can go further than that.
16 to 25. I can't.
Like it would have to be. It would have to be like 18.5 the first year, 21.75 the second year, and then 23.5 the third year. That type of thing.
I do think he's a good at $18 million a year. If that's what we could get him at. Mm-hmm. He's got value, man. He's an excellent trade piece, right? He 100%. Really is, especially if he's averaging 25, 26 points a game like we expect him to. And you keep saying inefficiently, and it's not hyper efficient, right? It's not. But when you look at his true shooting, not his EFG, his true shooting's not big because he gets to the line and hits free throws at an 85% clip, right? So his true shooting really isn't that bad. His effective field goal percentage is never really good. And it's not going to be because he launches up a bunch of bad shots. Just like J.R. Smith or Jordan Jamal Crawford. They never had high EFGs either. Lou Williams, because they launched up a bunch of bad shots. Derrick Rose, same thing, right? Was Derrick Rose good? He was phenomenal. His effective field goal. But his true shooting was a lot better because they got to the line and then they get free throws.
Well, that's the thing, too, is I've also never been a true shooting stat person. Like, that doesn't show me field goal percentage. What you do in game is what matters, not your advanced stat.
Yeah, but then you have like JJ Redick said, my contracts were all based on my 3-point percentage. So every percentage point was crucial to me. Crawford didn't care. Crawford said, "Give me the ball, I'll launch it." Right?
Yeah.
So who was launching the shots with 2 seconds left on the shot clock? Crawford, not Redick. Yeah. That's my point, though. Like Cam Thomas is never going to shy away from a shot with an expiring shot clock or launching a shot because of his field goal percentage. It's not who he is. Now, that's probably going to end up costing him some money, but like that's why I can't judge a guy like that on a bad. Now, if he was on a good team, if he was playing with other high-level scorers and he was still launching up bad shots, which I think he will do. Then,
well, that's the problem, though, right? You have to look at it in the sense that he has played on a contending team. Whether he was hated by coaching staff, front office, or just quite honestly didn't deserve the playing time is up for you guys to decide. But he didn't play. And when he did, he put up points, but he didn't look good anywhere else. To me, he didn't earn his minutes. And he couldn't do it on a contending team at a young age. I don't want to hear excuses for him. Jabari Smith got drafted, I'm pretty sure, the same year as him now. Right? Or was it the year before?
So.
Regardless, he is a young player who hasn't hit the expectation that many believed that he would have been, which was a borderline all-star, if not all-star caliber player. He hasn't hit that, but he's still been able to get consistent rotational minutes and starting minutes on a team since he got there, right? If you're good enough to play, you play. If you're not, you don't. And Cam Thomas was not good enough to play on a contending team. That's just the bottom line.
But there were guys throughout history. Drazen Petrovic was one of them. Jermaine O'Neal is another one of them, right? There were guys like that were late bloomers. Here's my
Tracy
point.
McGrady.
Yeah, although that was wild because we all saw it. Like, this guy's really good. We all saw it. But yeah,
you could also considerably say Kobe as well, right? He didn't really start getting that superstar name tag on him until his third year.
Yeah.
Nope. So I understand that, but you're also talking about a guy that's going into his 5th year. right? At some point, where's the cutoff on like, all right, maybe this is who you are. Like, this is
He's
it,
24
right?
though.
But we're getting to that point with Nick Claxton, right? Nick
Well,
Claxton's
Claxton's
26.
done.
Claxton's
Get
done.
rid of
Yeah,
Claxton.
Nick Claxton's 26, but that's what I'm saying though, is how many more years are we going to give these guys before we realize, all right, maybe it's not going to get any better. Right? Nick Claxton was doing what he's doing now at 24. Right?
But we could have said this about Jalen Brunson too. Jalen Brunson took
but
steps
Brunson
every
showed in the
single
playoffs
year.
that he was getting to be that guy. You know what I mean? Like all of these guys have proven themselves in some form of way.
Yeah.
3 40-point games and then nothing for the next 84 games that you're healthy for. It doesn't really show much. You haven't developed that second all-star caliber skill set. You score, but you do it inefficiently. Either show me that you can give me 24 to 26 a game on 49+% from the field, or show me that you can at least put up 22 and 5 in some form of category, whether it's rebounding or playmaking. Show me something, right? Show me some form of improvement.
Cam Thomas has a similar field goal percentage as Dame going into
that's a good
final.
point. I was gonna say let's take out all the CT bias and everything we know about him, right?
Mm-hmm.
What does a young 24-year-old shooting guard who's shown he can score 20 points a game, what is that worth on the open market? If I just throw that at you, most people are going to say, wow, that's probably pretty valuable.
It is.
But you also have to factor in the rest of their game and the undersized to his game.
If he was 6'7" and could play the 1-2-3, he'd be worth $30 million a year easily. He's 6'3", can only play the 2, can't handle the point, right? Like he's 6'3", can only play the 2, can only defend the 2. That's gonna hurt you in the free market, right? Like he's. I think his fair market value is $25 million a year. I think.
Oh, I think it's much lower. I think it's 21. 18 to 21.
That's not much lower. I think 18 is lower.
Yeah, but I mean that's a big difference. If you're talking about a yearly rate of 25 compared to, let's just say 18,
18,
right?
I
think realistically, you're saving what, $7 million a year. So you're saving $21 million over the next 3 years compared to giving him $25 million, $75 million for the next 3 years. Like that's a big save.
All right, so if it was you,
$25 million is just like 16% of the cap.
That's what I'm saying. It's not that. It's $25 million ain't what it used to be.
I know, but again, we've also said the same things about Nick Claxton. We said the same thing about Cam Johnson, how these contracts weren't that bad, that they're descending, that we can move on from them. We haven't moved on from them. They've only screwed our team in some form of way, right? Cam Johnson with wins, Nick Claxton with progression. Like, how many more times are we going to offer up these contracts that guys can't even get on other teams before we start realizing, okay, maybe let's sign these guys earlier and for cheaper? Look at OKC. They have Aaron Wiggins for the next 4 years at $10 million a year. They have Isaiah Joe for the next 4 years on $12.9 million a year. They just re-signed AJ Mitchell to a 3-year, $9 million deal. They got Jalen Williams back on a 3-year, $24 million deal. So he's getting $8 million a year. Like, when are we going to start utilizing early stage contract signings and getting these guys back on long-term cheap deals? That's how you do it. You don't wait till Nick Claxton is a restricted free agent and then you give him a bullshit 2-year deal and then he's an unrestricted free agent. All right, now you're forced to pay him $25 million a year, right? You're about to do the same thing with Cam Thomas, most likely. You're going to give him a 2-year bullshit deal and you're going to come back in 2 years and have to give him $30 million a year. Like, how many times are we going to get put in those positions? Sign the guys early for cheap. OKC's proven you can do it. You know? Like, am I does anybody have like a
here's
like a
my problem?
I need to know.
Here's my problem with Cam Thomas. If you're going to be a real contender, Cam Thomas needs to be your third best player. So he needs to be paid like your third best player. That's where the confusion comes in. He's a guy that can score anywhere on the court. It's one of a handful of guys in the NBA, anywhere from the basket to the logo. Cam Thomas can score at any point. That's really valuable. But that's all that he can do. Right? He's a tricky piece. If you're going to win, he can't be any better. If you're really going to compete for a championship, he can't be any more than your third best player. Am I right about that?
I don't think Cam Thomas can be a third option on a championship team.
That's fair too. I mean, I
think he's a 6-man fourth option type of guy, realistically. And it's again, it's not hate. It's just based on the fact that if you're looking at historic first, second, third options on championship caliber teams, you can even go down to a team like Denver, right? Their third options, Michael Porter Jr. or Aaron Gordon, right? And both not incredible 20-plus point per game scorers, but Michael Porter Jr., incredible 3-point shooter and rebounder. Aaron Gordon, incredible defender and playoff riser, right? Like, they all have these capabilities to their game where they have two components that are at least of borderline to star level, right? Cam Thomas has scoring. That's it.
But
you know who else only has scoring?
He can score from anywhere on the court.
But
I'm not comparing him to Iverson or Brunson. What can Iverson or Brunson do? That's
Brunson,
it. They can
score.
score.
Can
That's
score
it.
And he can play make. Brunson can score and he can play make. How many assists?
Okay, in the fourth quarter, in the fourth quarter of a game, in the final 5 minutes of a playoff game, what is the only thing Brunson's doing?
He's lighting it up.
That's all he's doing. He can't do anything else.
But my point is he's still averaging an all-star level stat line per game of a secondary stat. Right? Playmaking. He's averaging over 6.5
Cam Thomas 38 minutes a game. You said run the point like Brunson does. He'd average 6 assists a game. It's not that hard to average 6 assists a game if you always have the ball in your hands, right?
He almost had 4 this year. Didn't he have 4 this year?
And he's running the 2.
3.7, yeah. It's still below where you'd want to see it, especially for a guy whose usage rate was so high when he was healthy, right? Like, you would at least want to see something consistent. And that's, again, consistency has not been seen with Thomas, right? Show me that you can give me at least 5 assists a night. I don't want a game where you have 1 and then 2 games later you have 9 and then you go right back down to 2 and 3 and 1. Like, show me consistency. Give me 4 to 5 a game. Just do it consistently.
Pete, let me get your thoughts on what do you think in a bubble, what do you think Cam Thomas should be worth? Like, if you were looking at Cam Thomas and you were going to sign Cam Thomas, not in this year when no one has any cap space, but next year, what do you think Cam Thomas is worth?
I think $25 million per year is a good point at the age and the talent. You know what I mean? Like, let's see him with the ball in his hands for an extended period of time, right? He averaged 3.8 last year. That's almost 4. I know the usage rate is high. Yes, it is. But look at the team that he had. And this is where the problem is. Because you could put Cam Thomas on the Lakers, the numbers look different. He's evaluated very differently. On the Nets, we know that he's going to get a lot of possessions, and he's going to do a lot of scoring. And, we're going to look at all these secondary stats and analytics, and a lot of them probably aren't going to look good. But can the guy get a bucket when you need a bucket? Yeah. So I think $25 million is fair. It's only like 15 or 16% of the cap. You know what I mean? If you think a sixth man isn't worth that, that's fine. But I don't think that's, it's market value.
I think the problem that I have is the fact that we refuse to bring in guys on long-term cheap contracts when you can do so. OKC has shown that you can do it. If you want to follow this blueprint of drafting and drafting and drafting, why don't you follow the offseason blueprints as well? They got guys who are genuine borderline starters in this league on long-term contracts at 10 to 12 million a year. Help, do something. Sign Day'Ron Sharpe to a 3-4 year deal worth 10 million a year, right?
I was all for doing that with Ziaire. Give Ziaire
a guy like Ziaire for 14 million over the next 4 years.
I wanted to do that. Yeah, like Ziaire is a guy right now. He's a good piece to have, but when you become good and competitive, now he becomes an excellent bench player. Like Ziaire Williams would be crucial to a team like the Knicks. They would love to have a guy like Ziaire Williams. He can defend multiple positions. He can hit the corner 3, right? So he can hit the corner 3, and he can defend multiple positions. A guy like that is going to get minutes. He may not start, but he's going to get minutes on every single playoff team because of the 2 skills that he has, which is he's athletic and can defend, and he can hit the corner 3. He's going to be on the court for every single team. Why not keep him for as long as possible? When you're bad, it's fine. Like, he's going to start for you. When you're good, he has a role in your team.
My thing too, though, is you guys mentioned who's Cam Thomas passing to, right? Like, I can use this excuse for everybody. Keontae George on the Utah Jazz, where Lauri Markkanen played minimal games this season, still averaged 5.6 assists per game. Isaiah Collier, a guy who was an absolute nobody. He was good in college, but he wasn't that good coming into the draft, right? He fell in the draft tremendously. Utah, he was averaging over 6 assists per game. Like, there's guys on teams who play for dog shit teams with minimal talent, and they're still putting up great numbers. Like, if you're not seeing it now, when are you going to see it? Like, the excuses can't keep getting given out to these guys, I love Cam Thomas. I'd like to see him be great because I don't want to be wrong. I hate being right about my team sucking in certain departments. Trust me. I don't want to be right about this team half the time. But a lot of the times I am, and I don't like that. Like, prove me wrong for once.
I can prove you wrong very easily.
Not meaning you, I'm meaning the players.
I know, but I'm just saying that the thought in general, you made a very good point, right? Good point. But I could also counter that by saying, listen, the Nets run point series. point series is run by a big on the elbow. At the beginning of the year, Cam Thomas says, I don't like the offense. It's because he wasn't getting the ball in his hands as much as he was with the previous regimes. And that's another thing that's going to cut down on his assist. He's still going to get the usage rate because at some point he'll get the ball, but he might be catching it off an action rather than like bringing it up. It's a difference that could affect it. You might be right. I might be wrong. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so many variables here.
Yeah. Again, I gotta see it on the floor.
How many guys in the NBA can score better than him? And I don't mean just in one spot. I mean anywhere on the court 20. At any time. 10?
Probably 20. I
don't think – you think there are 20 guys logo to the basket that can score anywhere at any time like Cam Thomas? There's not that many. He's got to use.
I mean, if I'm just going based on points per game, guys, too.
Not points per game. Anywhere on the court at any time.
I would take Donovan Mitchell over Cam Thomas. I'm taking Tatum. I'm taking Brunson.
He's out for the year. Brunson.
I know. I'm just saying in general, just meaning on all 15 teams in each conference, so 30 teams. Who would I say is a better scorer than Cam Thomas? Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum, Jalen Brunson. I'm taking Giannis. He's a 6'11" freak. You're not going to do anything to that. Cade Cunningham, I'm taking him over him. He's more efficient, and he also has the playmaking aspect to him. But in terms of scoring, who hits tougher shots? Cam Thomas. But who also scores more efficiently around similar points per game? Cade. So I'm taking Cade. That's 5. I'm taking Paolo.
I'm not giving you Giannis because Giannis can't score from anywhere on the court. But you know what I'm saying? But that's what I'm asking you. Is the skills that he has is
that's like saying you wouldn't have that you don't agree with Shaq winning multiple MVPs because all he did was dunk.
I think Shaq is the most overrated player in the history of basketball.
He was the most dominant player in basketball. He was the most dominant player in basketball.
Then how come Tim Duncan and Rick Smith and Patrick Ewing and David Robinson and Hakeem Olajuwon used to dump all over him all the time? If he's the most that is just a cliche that doesn't mean anything. Like, if he's so dominant, how come Rick Smith averaged 22 points a game against him?
I don't know.
It's he's the most overrated basketball player of all time.
Defensively, he wasn't the most dominant, but offensively, he was. That was known. Offensively, he was one of those dominant players of all time.
That's just a thing that we say now, right?
No, that's the thing you were saying then.
Who's better at basketball, Shaquille O'Neal or Kevin Garnett?
All-around basketball, probably.
Who's better at basketball?
Yeah, KD at 6'11" can space the floor. He's a little bit more athletic and faster. Like,
if Kobe Bryant played with Kevin Garnett instead of Shaq, that team would never lose a game. Like, how dominant would that be? Like, that's how much better Kevin Garnett is than Shaq. Like, Shaq's not like that.
I don't know if I can agree with that.
If Kobe Bryant plays with Tim Duncan, how many championships does that team win?
You're talking about a top 10 player of all time. Yeah, if you replace the top 10 player of all time with a top 10 player of all time, you're going to probably make the same result.
Shaq isn't a top 50 player of all time.
That's like saying, okay, the Celtics replace Jason Tatum with Anthony Davis. How many championships are they going to win? Like, they're going to probably do the same shit.
We're saying he's the most dominant player of all time. And I'm just drawing that into – if I replace him with any one of his peers at that level, Kobe
all right, so
and the Lakers are better with all of his peers.
If you replaced 02 Shaq with Luke Longley on the Chicago Bulls back in 91, are they going to do the same thing?
I'm talking about the other great players.
But that's what I'm saying. If you replace great with great, there's usually not going to be a difference because great is great. As long as you are an all-star or a superstar,
but there is a difference. You're going to do the same thing. If you replace Shaq with Kevin Garnett, the Lakers get way better. And then the Timberwolves get way worse.
Way better. I don't know if you could say way better. Point being, as I already got 7 players that I would take, right? I already said Franz, Paolo, Cade, Giannis, Brunson, Tatum, Donovan. I'm taking Trae Young. I'm taking Tyler Hero.
All right, now we're jumping.
I'm just going down the list.
Tyler Hero can't score anywhere in the mid-range. Tyler Hero can hit a 3 with a little step back.
Tyler Hero's got a mid-range game. What do you mean?
He's got an
elbow jumper.
He has no mid-range game.
He's got an elbow jumper. He finds his spot at the elbow very often. I'm taking LaMelo. I know that one's close, but you got.
I would take LaMelo over him too.
Same levels of inefficiency, just more points per game.
Yeah,
so that's already 10 that I'm taking.
Hero and some of these other names.
I'm taking Tyrese Maxey, even though it is very close. It's very close, but I'm still taking Maxey. You could add Embiid when he's healthy, but we're going to leave him off for now. So I'm already at 11. That's just within the East. I'm taking SGA. I'm taking Jalen Williams. I'm taking Kevin Durant now on Houston. I'm taking LeBron. I'm taking Luka. That's already 21 I'm at.
I just don't. I fundamentally disagree with somebody.
I'm taking Jokic. I'm taking Anthony Edwards.
Fine.
I'm taking Curry.
Fine.
I'll give Cam Thomas over Ja. I don't mind that. I'm still taking Kyrie over Cam Thomas. I'm taking Anthony Davis. So that's 21 I'm at now. I'm still taking Devin Booker over him. Shit. I'm probably him and Wemby are close. I'll give it to Cam Thomas. Zion, you can have a debate about with Cam Thomas.
Again, I'm talking about guys that can score from anywhere on the court. Zion can't score from anywhere but from 5 feet and in. Again, I clearly love Zion, but like that's not what I'm asking you.
Perfect your craft and show me points per game. That's how
score from anywhere on the court.
I'm not looking at guys who can shoot from anywhere on the court, because if that's the case, you could also make an argument that Norman Powell is a great scorer.
What I'm saying is if I'm guarding Zion, there are certain things that I can cut off where I can deny him the ball.
Probably
right?
not.
There's nowhere I can defend Cam Thomas where he can't score from. Tyler Hero, I can defend.
Can you really guard Zion? He's got a great crossover, explosive speed, and he's also 100 pounds fatter than you. So it's like he's going to body you.
You front him and deny him the ball. Once he gets the ball, it's over.
That's a simple pass, cut, lob. It's like you're not getting Zion off of his balance unless if you offer him a bag of Doritos with Burger King. That's maybe it.
Offering him a bag of Doritos, yeah.
Yeah, Doritos and Huckers, that's maybe the only way that you'll get Zion off the court. But no, all these guys are better scorers. I look at scoring as points per game. I don't look at your skill set as in terms of where you can score the basketball. I'm glad that like Steph Curry, I'm glad you can shoot from 90 feet away. But who's a more efficient scorer, Kyrie Irving or Steph Curry? I look at efficiency in points per game.
Well, those are two of the most efficient scorers of all time, but technically Steph Curry's more efficient than Kyrie Irving.
Is he?
By efficiency?
I don't think so.
Slightly. I mean, they're both extremely efficient. Like you just named two of the most efficient scorers. But yeah Steph Curry's in fact, the field goal percentage
would have to think Steph's field goal percentage is less just because of his.
But he shoots so many threes at the EFG.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So let's see, Kyrie.
Well, they both had 50, 40, 90 years. Those are you just named two of the most efficient scorers to ever live. If you look at their careers, I think Steph is like just a little tick. Like one's like 57.1, the other's like 56.6 EFG.
I gotta see that.
Very close.
I think it's. Let's see. Kyrie's a 47.4% field goal shooter throughout his career, and he's also 39.4% from three.
Yeah, it's basically 50 and 40, and Steph's a little lower on the field goal, a little higher on the 3-point.
Let's see. His career stats.
His
field goal percentage is 47.1 3-point percentage. Oh yeah, he is more efficient. 42.
I mean, we're nitpicking here, but yeah.
Interesting. I did not think that he would. I mean, okay, so yeah, field goal percentage is slightly in favor of Kyrie.
Kyrie's more efficient scoring than Dame, for example.
Yeah.
Right? He's more but
interesting.
You look at those three guys that they had, Clay, KD, and Steph, they're all at the very top of like all-time efficiency scoring.
Poor example.
All right, Pete, you want to weigh in on this Cam Thomas thing? I feel like Dylan's answering a different question than what I'm asking. I'm asking how many guys can score from anywhere on the court better than Cam Thomas can? There's only a handful of guys.
Yeah, I'm going to be the ultimate fence sitter here and say there's about 15. I don't think it's 20, but I don't think it's 10. I'm taking a call. I'll be right back.
No worries. I was going to say, because I just saw somebody comment, you have to compare year fives. All right, here we go.
I don't like this.
No, here we go, because it's going to look bad. Damian Lillard in year 5 of his career was averaging 27.6 assists, 5 rebounds, and he played 75 games. All right, let's look at Steph Curry.
What year? What season was that? Was that like 10?
That was year 5.
What? Like, what was
I don't know.
Okay, what? It's like 2018 or something. Like what? No, wait.
No, he's been in the league much longer. Steph Curry in year 5, 24.6 assists, 4.5 rebounds. He also played 72 games. Let's go into the shooting guard category. Let's go to James Harden. Right? James Harden in his 5th year of the NBA averaged 29 points, 7.5 assists, and 6 rebounds. He played all 82 games.
17.
Yep. Let's go look at Bradley Beal in his 5th year. I know, what a poll, right? Bradley Beal in his 5th year.
That's wild. In his 5th year, Dame averaged 27, 6, and 5. Didn't make the All-Star game. Wild.
Yep.
Wild.
Bradley Beal is maybe the most comparable player that you can give Cam Thomas.
Right.
In year 5, Bradley Beal averaged 23 points, 3.1 assists, and 3.1 rebounds in 77 games. But he was also much more efficient and played much more games. He played 77 games and shot 48% from the field.
Well,
40%.
Hang on, time out. Cam Thomas hasn't played his 5th year yet. This is his 5th year. So we can't say he played way, but we don't know how many games he's going to play this year.
So you want me to do your fours?
I think Bradley Beal.
I'll go back and do
Dylan, we understand the argument. We get it. Like he hasn't played a lot of basketball. He hasn't earned the $25 million contract. Agreed.
Damian Lillard averaged 25 points, 7 assists, and 4 rebounds.
Damian Lillard is. Games. I'm the biggest Dame stan there is. He's one of the 75 greatest players of all time. Yes, Damian Lillard is better than Cam Thomas. I'm not. No one. I don't think. Is anyone arguing otherwise? Yes, Cam's
guys, you're not going to be able to answer this question. You know why? There's too many variables. Teammates, system. You know what I mean? Like different coaches. Where we're going to say there's just so much you could do and say that are just going to counter each other's argument, and it's just going to go back and forth.
Yeah, like James Harden averaged 26, 6, and 5.
I got news for you. James Harden is better than Cam Thomas. I got news for you.
People think he can turn into just because he's got a similar body frame and scoring ability. Like, no, he was showing the rebounding and playmaking aspect to his game long before he was a superstar. Cam Thomas is not.
So I just want to real quick. What do we think that contract? Cam,
I'm going to say 3-year deal, player option in the 3rd year, $19 million a year.
I would say 18. All right, so we're all on the same page. 19, 18. You want to take 17 or 20? What do you think, Pete? What's that contract going to look like? I say 19 per year, 18 per year for 3. Dylan says 19 per year for 3. What says you?
I says 4 years, about 85 through 95 mil. I think it's generational wealth. He doesn't turn it down, and the Nets may be able to lowball it down a little bit more.
If they did that, I think it's a good contract because it becomes tradable too. It's a 4-year deal. I would like a 4-year deal.
You know what? I'm gonna go back on. I could see what Dylan said, with being a 3 years and an option, because Sean Marks does like to have the whole fluidity thing by opening up cap space. So I could see that happening as well. But in that range, I think
realistically, the reason why you want to get Thomas on a 3-year deal, it gives him this year to see what he can really do. If he looks like he's going to be a full-time piece and you can keep him, well, guess what? If he's not and you want to move him, he's on a movable contract in year 2 that you can move off of him before he opts out of it free, right? That's how I look at it. Get yourself in a position where you, A, are not going to lose the player too quickly, and B, you're still going to be able to trade him for something of value. That's how you have to do it. If you go with these 1-2-year deals and you lose these guys after a year or 2, or they don't want to re-sign with you and you waited too long and now you lose them for nothing, you look like an idiot. And Sean Marks has done that previously.
There's 2 more topics I wanted to touch on real quickly. First, we're not going to bring back the greatest backcourt that God ever created. It looks like D'Angelo Russell. It looks like D'Angelo Russell is headed to Dallas on a 2-year deal, which makes a ton of sense. But it looked like at the end of the season, we all thought that D'Lo was going to be back, for better or for worse. Now they drafted 3-point guards. D'Lo's gone. Your thoughts, Pete, first on D'Lo not returning?
It's not surprising. I didn't think I told you when they first made the deal and he was having that little run, I fell into a little bias bag. I'm like, oh, I could see the maybe. You draft a young point guard and he could be a mentor. But I don't think it was ever going to happen, right? I think D'Lo wants to contend. I think he enjoyed just having the freedom in Brooklyn on a team that's losing. He does what he wants, basically. But I think that's the right move. We don't know what the deal is, right? We don't know the money in years yet.
It's like 2 years for 12.
I think that's a solid deal for Dallas.
Yeah, he can run the show until Kyrie comes back. When is Kyrie expected to return? About mid-season?
I have no idea.
Yeah, January, February.
That's a good deal.
I think it's good for Dallas. Dylan, I know you're broken up over this. No more D'Lo. He's gone. Your thoughts on that?
Dude. Cool. It's like cool story. Now fuck off. It's like that person in the grocery store that is talking to you for too long and you're like, I just want to go home. It's the same thing. It was great to see you when you were first here. It was cool to have you back for 3 months, but just go away. I don't want this repetitive bring back the oldies. This is like when Ozzy Osbourne goes on tour at the age of 75. Nobody wants to see that shit. Just go away. Leave me alone. Let's start some new, fresh Nets era and get some youth development. Stop bringing in vets that are ruining that. Get rid of Cam Johnson. D'Lo can go. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah, it's the right decision. I was just, it's like when you have a relationship with a dysfunctional ex. It's like, whatever. It was good, but This clearly needs to end. There was no upside in bringing D'Lo back. As much as I love D'Lo, I was looking at him last year wearing a D'Lo jersey saying, why is he on this team? Like, what is the purpose of having him here? And so it would not make any sense to bring him back. It would be a giant waste of money. So it's the right decision, even though I hate to see him go.
Yeah, no, I don't get attachment issues to players anymore since Kyrie got traded and shit on me. You know, I was a diehard Kyrie fan growing up in Jersey. That's why I'm a Duke fan, whole 9 yards. When he did what he did with Brooklyn and the way that they treated him, it was like a mutual, all right, the Nets, you're a bunch of douchebags, and Kyrie, you're a douchebag as well. So after that, I have no love for certain players. Either win me games and be on my team or get out of here. I don't care.
When is D'Angelo Russell Day that we retire his number in the Raptors forever?
Never. Never.
He will be. He was only here for 2.5 years, and one of it was really just the 18-19 season. Like the 17-18 season, he missed most of it with injury, and this past year he was pretty much terrible. He was pretty bad. Then the last question I wanted to touch on, we have the cap space. We have about $30 million after the Cam Thomas is signed. Who are we spending it on?
Well, what are we at right now, roughly? $42.5 million after the Sharp and Zaire signings? Or are we down to 36?
No, it's in the 40s. Pete, I know you know.
I think we're down to 36. Hold on. There was a comment earlier that mentioned it. I'll scroll up a bit. Pete, if you can beat me to it, that would be great.
Let me look. Let's see if I can get it.
Let's see. This is like a race to which mountain right now. Let's see.
You got to leave. You're probably going to get it on me. On Sport Track.
Yeah, Yazi has us at 34 million, 42 million if they waive the non-guaranteed deals. So we're at about 34 million. So let's just say Thomas comes back on 19, right? You still have 15 million in cap space. What's the MLE for us this year? 12.4. Even if so, you can go out of your way to go give Santi Aldama 15 million, you know, if you really want to. So this way they don't match it. And even if they do match it, that puts you in a position where Cam Johnson's contract becomes much more valuable to them. So
this is just a complete failure and disaster of an offseason, honestly.
Well, it's not over yet.
What were we expecting though offseason wise? Like in terms of
Kuminga.
I don't want Kuminga. No, I don't want Kuminga.
Kuminga and Ace Bailey was what I had What I'm hoping for is that Miles Turner looks at the Pacers and goes, I'm out for more money, and then we can trade Nick Claxton to Indiana for Benedict Mathurin. That's what I'm hoping for. All right, I can live in that world. I live in that world.
If you can do a sign-in trade where you give up Cam Johnson for Santi Aldama, John Conchar, and a first-round pick, and then you can flip Nick Claxton for Benedict Mathurin and a salary filler, that I'll be happy with. I would like to see that. Or figure out a way to get RJ Barrett in Brooklyn. I would love to see RJ Barrett in Brooklyn.
We can do that.
I really like his game. It's a short-term deal. It fits the time frame of Brian Lewis, where he said this is a 3-year rebuild, right? We're already in year 2. Next year will be year 3, right? Realistically, if you want to build up a package for a superstar at some point in the near future, RJ Barrett's making $27.7 million for the next 2 years. That's a great contract to add into a deal for a superstar down the road. Not to mention, had a resurgence year. What was it? 22 points, 5+ rebounds, 5+ assists. He looked great. So I would love to see him in Brooklyn as like a vet who can also be, capable of showing off good performances. But I don't necessarily think that he impacts the game of winning as much as guys like Claxton and Cam Johnson did this season. So that's kind of why I want to see him.
I think the goal of the offseason was pretty much we wanted to have a building block, like a real face of the franchise building block to build upon, towards the end of the offseason. And we could look at everything and say, okay, these are going to be the guys we're going to build around. We'll bring back these guys. These guys are going to walk. Maybe you fill up a roster spot or two with the trade taking and salary. And as of right now, I don't feel confident that we did that. I don't feel confident that Demon is like, okay, that's the guy that I'm willing to put everything all in and invest in.
I did want to get your thoughts on the draft class because I don't think you and I have spoken about it really. Are you as pissed off as a lot of us are?
Or are no and yes. No and yes. And okay. I'll tell you why. I like a couple of the secondary picks. I like Danny Wolf. I really thought Nolan at 19 was a great
value. Great value. I can agree with that.
Some people, like some draft people I was talking to, they're like, he's going to be a better point guard than Demon.
There's a possibility. I mean, he was a previous top 5 projected pick. There was arguments about him and Dylan Harper before last season. Like, it makes sense, but that's kind of what like freaks me out. I don't mind taking 2 point guards with upside because one of them has to pan out, right? That's kind of the expectation with doing that. That I don't disagree with. The problem is you didn't trade for the second lottery pick when Carter Bryant was right there at 13. You could have done it, right? And even if not, you could have taken Malawak at 8 and probably traded up for Demon at 13. So regardless, 2 lottery picks right off the bat should have been priority number 1. And number 2, how do you pass on Rasheer Fleming for Ben Saraf? It doesn't make sense. Even if you were to just replace Saraf in this draft class with Fleming, I would have given it a B rather than a D+. Because 3 point guards and not trading up for a second lottery pick is an absolute waste of a draft class to me.
I want to ask you a question.
Let me get one last.
Okay, I want to ask you a question.
The thing that bothers me the most is saying that, like, basically Drake Powell and Ben Saraf possibly lost us a chance at getting a second lottery pick.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. Like, do you believe in those guys so much that it wasn't worth moving up? Because
I believe in Drake. I think Drake is an incredible.
Forget about it. Drake or Carter Bryant.
So here's how I look at it. I would have packaged up 19 and 20 and 27 with Cam Johnson to move up to 13 for whatever it may have been, or even just 19 and Cam Johnson to move up to 13, right? So let's just say it's that 19 and 13, 19 and Cam Johnson for 13. All right, fine. You want to take Demon at 8, do it, but go and get Carter Bryant at 13. That's fine. So now you have Demon and Bryant. You get up to the 22nd pick, right? Take Fleming. Drake Powell's going to be there at 26. You know. Realistically, I'm taking that, and then at 26 and 27, I'm taking Powell and Wolf. If you wanted to spend 5 picks, you could have still done it, but at least give us that. You know what I mean? Like if you would have walked away with Wolf, Fleming, Bryant, Demon, and Traore, you got 2 guards, 2 wings, and a center. That's exactly the way that I would have done.
This is what I heard. This is what I heard from behind the scenes. I'm not fairly confident enough to put my name on it, but this is what I keep on hearing. They wanted Demon as the second lottery pick. OKC spooked them into reaching for him. They said, we really want Demon. Demon's our guy, but we think we could have gotten him later. Then the OKC thing kind of scares them, and that kind of sets the tone for the entire draft.
All right, now I want to ask you a question, right? Like in our mock-off season, I had us trading down to 14 to take Ziaire. I'm not upset about Ziaire. I think he's a very good player with a high upside. But let's say you're right, and Nolan Traore is a better point guard than Ziaire. We took Ziaire 8th overall. What do you do with Ziaire at that point? Let's say Traore is better. Let's say he runs the point better than Ziaire does. What do you do with Ziaire?
Well, I'm going to say first of all, these people I'm talking to, like the whole like DraftNix people that are just they write up their articles and whatnot. They say that. I'm not saying Traore is going to get better.
No, I'm saying let's live in that world. Well, let's live in that world where everyone's wrong about Traore and we were right, and he's the best point guard in the draft. What do you do with Ziaire?
Ziaire, I think what you're going to see is you could have Traore still as the point guard, and you could have Ziaire take up the ball sometimes, but he's going to be more like I'm guessing. I would hope that this is the vision that he's like the number 1 option, and you could just let him create. He brings up the ball. So I'm not saying he's going to be as good as LeBron, but you know how like LeBron can take up the ball sometimes, or a lot of the time, like the team's best player brings up the ball sometimes.
Yeah,
I think that's maybe the vision. I'm not sure.
I think of it as Halliburton.
It doesn't make any sense to have the 2 of them. You can't play them together. Like that.
I don't think you can't play them together. You just can't play Cam Thomas with those 2 together, and that's the thing. Are you going to choose Cam Thomas, or are you going to choose these 2?
Cam Thomas is out the door as soon as they can get a trade. Like as soon as they can bring in a star, Cam Thomas is the piece that's out the door. I'm not worried about Cam Thomas that much.
To me, Demon is our Halliburton and Traore is our Nembhard. Right? Nembhard, quick, gritty defensive player, solid floor spacer, great playmaking. Right?
Wait,
Halliburton.
Traore can't shoot.
Guard. Yeah, but Traore can shoot. It's just not efficient yet. And 90% of guys that come into a draft can't shoot. It's all just mechanical tweaks, and these things get solved. Look at Jeremiah was a sub 27% 3-point shooter. Ziaire Demon sub 27% 3-point shooter. Ben Saraf sub 20% 3-point shooter. Like all of these guys shoot below 30%. Everybody does. You only have your anomalies here and there. Con Kneppel is known for 3-point shooting, right? Cooper Flagg Just doesn't take volume, but he's efficient. That's why his 3-point percentage looks better. Dylan Harper. What was Dylan Harper's 3-point percentage? Probably sub 33, right? Which is still below league average.
Something.
Yeah, like all of these guys shoot below league average.
You can
3-point shooting is probably the easiest thing to fix. Look at Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball came into the league as a not great 3-point shooter with horrible mechanics. He shot horribly his first 2-3 years. And what happened? He's now become one of the better catch and shoot 3-point guards in the league.
Old heads like me will remember Richard Jefferson couldn't shoot at all. They called him Efferson.
Yeah, but we're also talking
Jefferson,
about
and by the end of his career, he was 3D guy.
In terms of 3-point shooting, we're looking at the Steph Curry draft class and forward, because that's when the league really started to expand as a 3-point league, right? So I'm not looking at shit in the early 2000s and in the late 90s where, the greatest thing on earth was a post fadeaway. Like we're not doing that anymore, right? Steph draft class later. Who are these guys shooting threes in those draft classes? What were their percentages? You have to think during Steph Curry's days, what was the league average at three? Probably 33, 34% at most. Now you're talking about 36, 37, right? Yeah. Like that's a big difference. It's like a shot or two per game being made. So that's how I look at it. I don't think 3-point shooting percentage in terms of a prospect is the least thing that I'm worried about out of any other aspect of the game. Demon has showcased he can rebound fairly well. He just needs to put on a little bit of size, and I think he'll do that. He's got the best vision in the class by far. He's the best playmaker in the draft. He has shown improvements in his 3-point percentage simply just based on his conference championship play and then also the NCAA tournament play, plus the combine. So on 3 different levels of major aspects as a prospect, he has shown increase in 3-point percentage. To me, I'm not worried about it.
My problem wasn't any pick individually. Individually, I don't have a problem.
Saraf was horrible. That was the worst.
Besides Saraf, that is. But they took Wolf for the next pick, so my biggest problem,
and not to cut you off, is taking Saraf over Fleming and then trading the 36th pick, which turned into Ado Thiaro, who I really
did it turn into Fleming? Did it turn into Thiaro or Fleming?
Well, no. So the 36th pick to Phoenix turned into Fleming. The 36th pick went to the Lakers, and that turned into Thiaro.
Okay.
Like, that pissed me the fuck off. How is it that 2 of my favorite upperclassmen, 2 guys who I had projected late first round, you pass on, and then you fucking lose them in trades? Like,
at 22, I wanted Asa Noel. That didn't happen. I was a little upset, but I go watch Drake Powell. I'm like, all right, this may end up being the right pick, right? Maybe
he's a very undervalued pick. That is I don't think I would have taken him at 22. That's where I feel it was a reach. I think he's sitting there at 26 and 27 realistically, but I don't hate it because of how much upside he has. Like they did do very similar things with their first 3 picks. Demon at one point in the season was projected to be the 4th overall pick throughout the first month and a half of college basketball. Traore, before the college basketball season began, was projected to be a top 5 pick. And then you have Drake Powell, who before the college basketball season was projected to be a lottery pick. They took the 3 highest upside guys who ended up falling in terms of their early on projections. I understand it, but again, it's those picks in between, right? Powell, you likely can get later on. You could have went with a guy like Fleming. Shit, even if you went Demon at 8, look at how the board was falling at 19. You had Traore, Jace Richardson, and Yakachonis available. You have to think Traore is still available at 22, right? I would have taken Will Riley at 19, or I would have, tried to package that pick up to go up and move up. So there was a lot of mistakes made in the draft class, which is why I'm on Sean Marks' ass all over Twitter, which I'm sure all of you are seeing.
It's picking 5 times.
Yeah.
You guys have more vision and more hope than I do that any of these guys can play together, although no one is mentioning Saraf either, who is also a non-shooting point guard. But
yeah,
are you going to tell me Saraf is going to shoot too? Saraf's going to turn into a shooter too?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, I can look at his stats from overseas. I don't think they're anything special. Ben Saraf.
I think you take 5, you take like a couple point guards, and you hope you have the point guard of the future in this draft.
He played roughly 24.5 minutes a night this year. He averaged about 42% from the field, 22.2% from 3. Jesus Christ.
If Devin becomes like a superstar, right? Are you guys, we look back at this and we're not even like thinking about us complaining, right?
I'm not mad about the Jaeger pick. I thought it was early. I'm not mad about Jaeger at all. I'm mad he didn't trade down, but if you were going to sit and pick there, I probably would have taken Meliuak, but I'm not mad about Jaeger.
I'm again, not trading up for a second lottery pick to me is malpractice, and reaching on multiple picks is a joke. I don't hate reaching on players when you think they're the guy, but when you're taking multiple positions of the same position, that's when I start to have a problem with it, because not only are you not building a versatile team in terms of adding different players that do different things in different positions, you're stunting the development of multiple players because you have to find minutes now for the same guy who does the same thing at the same position, right? That's where I have a problem with it. So quite literally, if you want to upgrade this draft to at least a B minus, replace Saraf with Fleming, and I wouldn't be complaining as much. But the non-trade up for that second lottery pick is what really pissed me off.
I'm complaining because I still got 5. I can't even develop 5 rookies at once. It's just, you know, and I still got to get Whitehead on the court because Whitehead still hasn't played.
I wouldn't say that you can't, because OKC took what, 6 total rookies the year they got Jalen Williams and Chet, I believe.
Really?
Let me see. Jalen Williams.
Wasn't Chet out for the year though?
Yeah, because he got bodied by LeBron in a Drew League game and snapped his ankle in half. Yeah.
So it's not like you're getting that. You know, that's one.
Yeah, no, I can see that. I want to see the 2022 draft class, 2022 NBA draft class.
I wonder what they're gonna do with Demon, as in, are they gonna play like how I mentioned before? I could even see them playing him at the elbow because he has the size and the playmaking.
Yeah.
So I wonder.
Okay, OKC took 4 players that year. It was Chet. They took Ousmane Dieng at 11, and they also took Jalen Williams at 12. So they had 3 top 12 picks. And then they also took the other Jalen Williams at 34.
So we'll leave on this. Terrence Mann, Santi Aldama, hypothetically, and Yegor Demon. Is that the offseason that you envision, Pete?
No. Like I said before, my goal for this offseason, find the guy you're gonna build around. And technically they provided that guy in Demon, but it's just I don't know. I can see myself being 100% wrong, but I feel a little shaky because that shot really needs work. But if they hit though, he's gonna be like a perennial all-star.
Yeah,
but
I completely agree.
I think the upside is there. People say the upside's not high. I disagree. I really disagree about that.
The upside's there. The upside is, my biggest problem is that you didn't give him somebody of the same caliber upside that matches well with him. That's my biggest problem. You gave him Nolan Traore, right? Like, again, I don't hate the Traore pick, but if you're going to take somebody at a reach who you feel could be the guy, give him somebody that could play off of him and also be the guy. Carter Bryant, to me, was the guy at 13. Like, if you could have moved up and added Bryant with Yegor, those are 2 of the top 5 highest upside players in this draft. You know what Harper's most likely going to be. You know what Flagg's most likely going to be, right? That leaves you kind of with Ace, Malawak, Demon, Carter Bryant, and maybe you can throw in terms of just players selected in the lottery, you could probably throw in Asenge as the 5 most highest upside raw talents in this draft class. Like, if you were to give me Bryant and Yegor and then fill that out with, let's just say, Fleming, Wolf, and Drake Powell, that to me is an A. Like, that's an incredible draft.
I still wanted, like, I'm happy with Yegor, but I feel like we could have traded in at 3 or 4 and gotten a game-changing player and Yegor, right? Like, it would have cost us Cam Johnson. It would have cost us the rest of our picks, but who cares, right? Like,
exactly.
You're building something now.
Too much risk at 8. That's what it is. If you're going to draft at 8, you needed someone either a little more solid or move up, like you said, or move back.
Again, I looked at this draft class like OKC, right? OKC had 2 lottery picks, and look what they turned into. This was the draft class that was talked about so highly, and you just showed that you didn't value it, right? That could be a massive mistake. So to me, now you need to get another pick or 2 next year in the first round, and you better hope that one of those is another top 15 pick, because it's not looking good for you right now. Just in terms of early draft projections on how these players are going to turn out, you got 3 point guards that don't fit with one another. They all do the same thing. They all have the same inefficiencies to their game. You got a upperclassman big man. All right, you're likely looking at what? A 5th option starter at his peak, most likely a rotational backup big. Okay. And then you're looking at a real high risk, high reward wing who you overvalued and took probably about 9 to 10 picks before he would have even been selected. Like, it's not a good look. And there's a reason for the hate, and there's a reason for fans being very frustrated with these picks. This was a time that you were supposed to strike big on high upside players and make massive moves to ensure that you get incredibly talented players. And you sat on your ass and just chose and picked. That's a problem.
All right. I gotta close this out. Dylan, when do you wanna come back?
I'm free tomorrow. Let's come back tomorrow.
Right.
Let's shoot for like 1 p.m. because I'm gonna be at the gym from 11 to like 12:30. So let's shoot for then.
1 p.m. tomorrow. So 1 p.m. tomorrow. Pete, can you join us tomorrow? We would love having you on.
Maybe I'm gonna go to I think I'm going to AC tomorrow. I might slide through tomorrow. Tomorrow. Yeah.
All right. My feeling is we may have another emergency podcast tomorrow too. I think something's coming in with Claxton. But we'll find out.
Right.
Any closing thoughts, guys? Anyone wants to close this out?
Trade Cam Johnson off my damn team. Get the guy away from my team. For the love of Christ, please get the man off my team.
If Cam Johnson is on this team,
I may not be able to watch. I'm
going to get you a Cam Johnson jersey. Which one do you want? Do you want the white, the black, or the alternate one like
whichever one stains the easiest and burns the quickest.
All right, guys. Pete, any closing thoughts?
Oh man, just check out my podcast. Follow me on Twitter at NetFans, and let's hope that Sean Mark's got something cooking. That's all.
I have no confidence in Sean Mark, but he did okay today. All right, y'all. It is June 30th. June's already over. June 30th, 2025, from Texas to the world. Thank y'all, and God bless.
Later.